Hello my friends on YouTube. Today's video, because of Ramadan, I will give it a Quranic verse, and then we'll talk about it. It's about the failing systems, plural. Today is Sunday, the 25th of April 2021, and the Quranic verse, I'm going to use two Quranic verses, and I'm going to put them in the description box in case if you want to read different translation for yourself, you're welcome to do so. The first verse I would like to start with is chapter 3, verse 110. It's supposed to be God is telling the people in the Quran, this is not hadith, this is not somebody said, this is in the Quran. And it says that you were created as the best of people to humanity. That's the Muslim. This I don't mind so much, because in a way we all think of ourselves as special people. Each group of people, each race, each nationality, they think of themselves as a special people, a good group of people. We are of a good family. Nobody says about his or her family that I'm from the worst family in the whole universe. No. So we want to feel good about ourselves, so we feel good about our families. Now, the problem comes when we try to apply the goodness in our family or in our nation or in our ideology or our religion, put that to the test. For example, there are many people, actually of my family also, who go to study in Europe and in America. And before that, actually, I have many of my family members who studied in the former Soviet Union. Yes, it was more advanced than the Islamic countries. We have to say it as it is. Okay? So in the 60s, early 70s, and until mid 80s, many students from many countries, I know from Yemen, from Egypt, from Syria, they used to go to study in the former Soviet Union. Okay? Now, why they do that? Because they get some benefit. The education system there gave them better knowledge than what they got in their countries. So they were not forced in a way to go there. Nobody forced anyone, any student. Go and ask any foreign student in America or in Europe, were you forced to come here to study? He or she will tell you, no, I'm seeking better education or higher education. Okay? So, in terms of goodness, we can say the European education is better than other education. The European education system is better than other educational system or systems. The same thing for America and Canada and so on and so forth. Now, in terms of political or religious system, it should be the same. If you have a good political or religious system, people should also willingly go and study this, and you don't need to force them, you don't need to put them, as it says in chapter 40, verse 71, put shackle around their necks. It's like a large ring. You put it around the neck of the non-Muslim and hook it with chains and drag that person to come to Islam. If Islam is so good, you don't need to do that. I'm going to put that verse also in the description box so that nobody will tell me that I'm making things up. I'm not. That takes me to the conclusion that there are systems better than other systems. And I'm not saying that the democratic system is the perfect system. It's not. It has many flaws and many difficulties and many problems. However, it is the best system until today that humanity came up with. And until we find a better system, we better follow the best that we have. Unfortunately, some people claim, okay, because the Islamic system came, they believe that the Islamic system came from God because it's in a book, they call it holy book, whatever. You want to believe that? That's fine with me. But my problem is not with the Muslim. My problem is with Islam and with the Muslim when he tries to apply what's in the Qur'an to force me. Preparing. The Muslim is always preparing to find a way. I mean, if the situation of Muslim groups allow them to do what they have done in the Middle East, like in Syria, Iraq, and Yemen, to do that to the rest of the world, to force them to come to Islam, to a point that they have to put rings around their necks, shackle around the neck, and chain and drag us all by force to accept Islam, they will do that. They are always preparing to do that. That is not a hidden secret. That is Islam. That brings us to why, if this is so good, you don't need to do that. Why do people risk their lives from the countries south of the United States to try to enter into the United States? And the answer is because the United States has a better system. It's called the democratic system. Okay? The same thing in Europe. People left that wonderful ideology that encouraged people to put chain around their necks and drag them to this ideology. They are running away from it, going to Europe. Why? Looking for a better lives. So we have to admit, you see, these days actually, because of the internet, 1988 when Salman Rushdie wrote his book, Satanic Verses, that caused a revolution to a point that Ayatollah Khomeini of Iran put a price on Salman Rushdie's head. I think it was $25 million. And this book, in comparison to what is on the internet today, is nothing. That was like an allegory book. And yes, I agree, he was the first person probably publicly breaks the ice and broke the glass, that seal that nobody can talk about Islam. But now, if they are going to put $25 million uh, to chop the heads of each person is talking about what's really in Islam, uh, I don't think all of their oil will be enough to pay that, to pay for that. So the Muslim now, all the Muslims, you are faced with a dilemma. The fact that you come and curse or tell me to shut up, and even if you manage to shut me up, you can't shut us all up. So for you, this is a time to take a step back and see what's wrong. Because definitely, what I'm telling you here, this is from the Qur'an. And definitely, this is not right to force people, to drag them towards your ideology. Because if it is good, they will come to you automatically. Like those who go to Europe to study. No one needs to drag them by force like that and put shackle around their neck and drag them to Europe to study. Nobody drags people even to the Soviet Union when they had they opened for people, for non-Russian or non-Soviet bloc people to go to study there. They did not do that. Even that socialist countries, that it's failing system also, they did not do that. Now, we come to the failing socialist system that we see today, and this is unfortunately, this is another failing system that the world is, many of the world leaders, YouTube included, Twitters and all these giant media are not really, they believe it's like a religion to them that this is the best system, the Chinese socialism. Yes, I agree. The Chinese socialist system, they learned more of the failure of the socialist system that it was used in the former Soviet Union, that it collapsed. However, that does not mean socialism works. I remember when Egypt was a socialist country, we were not free to do what we wanted to do. Always you have a big brother telling you what to do. The government tells you what to do. You are not free to do anything. So, and the country was a failing country in all aspects. The same thing, all the countries, the former bloc of the Soviet Union, all these small countries under the Soviet Union were failing states. The whole Soviet bloc was a failing state. And it took them 70 years to come to that realization. And that's why it broke to pieces. And now, we have the Chinese Communist Party trying to resurrect that. Of course, you can say socialism, it's in perfection stage, okay? Because they learned from previous mistakes. So they try to avoid that, but it is still a failing system. Why? Because you cannot take away the freedom of an individual, of a human being, and force him or her to do what you want them to do or what the government wants them to do. And unfortunately, the United States government is so much in bed now with that Chinese system. And they are trying to bring that failing system to America through the Democratic Party. Starting with it started even right after World War II. They are trying to infiltrate, but they really did, the infiltration took root at the time of Bill Clinton. And then the disaster happened when 8 years of Obama, he let the Chinese and the Muslims control the main joints of the United States. And now it's a matter of life or death for this country. So you want to speak of a good system that it will bring goodness and happiness to people. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying that to upset any Muslim. And I have no dispute, I have no beef with any Muslim. I have a problem with the system, the ideology that it's in Islam. I have a problem not with the Chinese people or any person under communist or socialist system, whether it's in Venezuela, North Korea. I have no problem with the people. I have a problem with that ideology. We thank you. We hope to hear from you.